Welcome back. The details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi on Sunday expressed Egypt's full appreciation to Japan's contributions to the development drive in Egypt. Addressing a joint press conference with Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Cairo, the head of state cited several projects that received Japanese backing, notably the Grand Egyptian Museum, the Japanese schools in Egypt, and the Egyptian-Japanese University for Science and Technology. Let's have a closer look.
President Fattah al-Sisi on Sunday stressed the importance of ties between Cairo and Tokyo, hailing Japan's contribution in backing development drive in Egypt. Speaking at a news conference with visiting Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, the president said the two sides reviewed economic and legislative reforms aimed at improving investment atmosphere in Egypt. He called on Japanese government to inject more investments in Egypt. President Sisi said the talks dealt with the repercussions of Ukrainian crisis, praised Japanese keenness to work with development partners to address economic challenges spurred by this crisis. The president said the talks also discussed Palestinian cause and situation in Libya. Concerning Sudan, President Sisi said he reviewed Cairo's vision, which centers around reaching an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire without foreign intervention. For his part, Japanese Prime Minister praised ties with Egypt and said Tokyo is ready to provide humanitarian aid to people fleeing Sudan. Prior to the press conference, President Fattah al-Sisi held a summit meeting with Japanese Prime Minister Kishida in Cairo's Al-Ittihadiyya Palace. Presidential spokesman Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said the two leaders in their talks agreed to raise relations between Egypt and Japan to the level of strategic partnership and culmination of historic ties. The two sides also probed joint cooperation in investment, trade, education, health, IT, transport, renewable energy, as well as in development of Grand Egyptian Museum, which is a prominent landmark in fruitful cooperation between Egypt and Japan. The talks also tackled ongoing efforts to maintain peace and security on international level, with both President Sisi and Japanese Prime Minister exchanging views over Russian-Ukrainian crisis, efforts to ensure nuclear weapons non-proliferation and boosting multilateral diplomatic work, as well as UN reform. President Sisi and Japanese Prime Minister also tackled Palestinian issue and Ethiopian's Renaissance Dam. Over Sudan, the two sides stressed the need to push forward political dialogue in Sudan and completion of transitional phase, with Prime Minister Kishida hailing Egypt's assistance in evacuating Japanese nationals from Sudan and offering condolences in the martyrdom of a member of the Egyptian mission in Khartoum while doing his duty. The presidential spokesman said the two leaders, following their talks, witnessed signing of several agreements, memorandum of understanding in communications and information technology, legal and judicial issues, as well as the first phase of the 4th underground metro line, as well as partnership between International Cooperation Ministry and Japan's Bank for International Cooperation. Japan's Prime Minister is in Egypt as part of a 3-day visit at the start of an African tour.
Earlier, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida delivered a speech before a meeting of the Arab League Council on the level of permanent representatives attended by Secretary General Ahmed Abul-Ghait. Kishida announced that he agreed with Abul-Ghait to hold the 3rd edition of the Arab-Japanese Political Dialogue next September. He also said that they agreed to promote relations in technology and energy fields within the framework of the Arab-Japanese Economic Forum. Over the situation in Ukraine, Kishida said that the international community is facing the Russian military operation, which has shaken the world order. Japan's Prime Minister emphasized that his country works with the Arab countries to ensure the respect of the sovereignty of all countries and their territorial integrity in accordance to the Charter of the United Nations. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said the Grand Egyptian Museum is a model example of Egyptian-Japanese cooperation. Addressing a joint press conference with Japan's Prime Minister as he welcomed Kishida's visit to the landmark Giant Museum, Madbouli thanked Japan for contribution in the completion of the project. The Prime Minister expressed hope that the Japanese Prime Minister would be present at the official opening of the Grand Museum, saying he looks forward to setting the date of the event in agreement with the Japanese government. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi received a greeting cable from Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli congratulating the head of state on May Day. In the cable, Prime Minister Madbouli expressed well wishes and said the occasion is a chance to hail laborers who work day and night to achieve comprehensive development across the country. The Prime Minister said workers' efforts contribute to the security and stability of the nation, wishing more success for President Sisi and prosperity for workers in Egypt. The President also received similar cables from both the Senate Speaker, Councillor Abdul Wahab Abdelrazak, and House of Representatives Speaker, Councillor Hanafi Gibeli. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri heads to the Jordanian capital Amman to participate at a meeting of a five-way ministerial committee over Syria on Monday, bringing together foreign ministers from Egypt, Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Syria. The committee was formed at an April meeting of the foreign ministers of the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, plus Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq, and it was held in Jeddah. The meeting will probe means to reach a political solution to Syria's crisis and enhancing Arab countries' solidarity with the Syrian people. Councillor Hanafi Gibeli, Speaker of the House of Representatives, said that Sudan is witnessing unfolding developments of great repercussions in recent weeks, adding that all Sudanese parties should put their people's lives and their state's resources at top priority. Addressing the House's general session on Sunday, Gibeli stressed Egypt's full support to the Sudanese people and keen interest on security and stability of the neighboring brotherly nation. On the ground, Sudan's army said the operational situation of its